everyone, what's up? Hope you're all doing well. So as usual, like 90% of my looks, we are going to start off by hiding our eyebrows, and I'm just using a normal glue stick to do this, and you want to get them as smooth as possible. By the way, all the products will be listed in the description box below. Grabbing the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, I'm just going to apply this onto my eyelids, and then I'm going to move on to the brows and create some upside down evil looking brows. Now I don't actually know why I did it in this particular awkward order, but there you go. So for the brows, I'm using the NYX SFX Creme colours, and then I'm using the white underneath to really sharpen and define them. I'm then going in with a black, and I'm just going to create the effect so it goes from a green to a black. And I'm using my brush and creating strokes to create kind of like hairs and an ombre effect. Moving on to the eyeshadow, I'm using the NYX Ultimate Brights eyeshadow palette. I've gone in with an angled brush and I've sketched out the really basic rough shape of the cut crease. Once I was happy with the shape, I'm then going in with like a normal eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to start packing on some colour. I'm creating the effect so it goes kind of from a deep purple to a more lighter purple, almost pink. You really want to take your time and build it up slowly and use lots of circular motions to get a nice soft transition. Try as hard as you can to not get any pigment underneath the line that you created. I'm creating the cut crease so that it's quite large and dramatic and it goes really high up. Moving on, this time I'm grabbing the Crayolant Supracolor in white, which is like an oil-based paint. And then I'm just grabbing a brush and I'm just going to really roughly sketch out the shape of the skeleton. Now, if you want to, you can grab a pencil first and sketch out the shapes, that's absolutely fine. But I just decided to go straight in with it. Now, I didn't want this to be 100% pure white, so I've gone in with my finger and I've really dabbed out some of the pigment to kind of give it an opaque look. As you can see, I've sketched out the cheekbone areas and the eye socket areas as well. For the rest of my face, I just kind of painted the chin white and then diffused the colour out. Now this time I'm just grabbing some black and a fine brush and I'm starting to create the rough shape of the teeth. And before getting any further with that, I've then just applied some black underneath the cheekbones. And I've used my finger to blend out the colour once again. This is going to create a lot of depth and really separate the cheekbones from the jaw area. Moving back onto the teeth, I'm just going to start really creating the shapes now, and I'm creating kind of like V shapes coming from each line. This is going to separate each of the tooth and create gaps between them as well. I'm then just grabbing the same brush and I'm creating a really sharp and defined jawline. For the nose, I'm just grabbing the same eyeshadow palette and I'm just going to grab a fine brush and really define it. So I'm adding some purple near the bottom of the nose, and then this kind of fades up into a yellow on one side. I've deliberately made it uneven just to give it a bit more character, and I didn't want to go for like a typical skeleton nose, so this is what I've done instead. So next, grabbing that same brush, I'm now just going to really add some shadows in between each of the teeth. So what I'm doing is I'm flicking the brush upwards, and this is going to create depth and make the teeth look a little bit more 3D. I'm then doing the same with the bottom. I'm just grabbing a fine eyeshadow brush, and you just want to really gently flick the product downwards on the bottom areas. You want the black to be more intense as it goes towards the teeth and for it to fade out and be more opaque as it goes away. And you can use both the oil paint for this or some black eyeshadow, that's absolutely fine. I'd say a little product goes a long way, so don't overdo this. Next, I'm grabbing some more colours, this time very similar to the nose. I'm just going to continue actually diffusing out the lines. So this time it's going to ombre from a black to a yellow. And as you can see, I'm taking the product up quite far and I'm curving the line so that it follows the shape of my cheekbones. Then I'm just grabbing some brown eyeshadow and I'm kind of doing the same thing, but this time I'm just contouring like the cheekbone areas with a wider brush. As you can see, I'm just applying it very gently and I'm using circular motions. Next, taking a fine brush, I'm just going to apply this on the insides of the eye sockets. Now this is going to really create some depth and create the illusion that it really is sitting behind. Once I've applied this brown, I'm then going in with a fine brush and some really deep brown, and I'm just going to line the lines to create even more depth and just really define the shapes. You want to use a variation of colours, not just browns, maybe add some hints of yellow here and there as well. Next, grabbing some eyeliner, I'm using the NYX Epic Ink Liner. You just want to create some wings, very simple. I'm making these wings so that they are quite large and dramatic, and again they go really high. Sometimes I really do believe the tiniest little details makes the biggest difference. So I'm grabbing some white eyeliner. I'm using the NYX white eyeliner for this. I've just applied this underneath my brows and the cut creases as well. This is going to kind of separate the colours and the sections and just really sharpen and clean it up. Is the best way to describe it. It's just going to give it that edge. I'm also applying this on the outer sides of the sockets to create a stark contrast. Moving on to the neck and chest. Now, the same that I said about the face you can do with the chest as well. If you want to grab a pencil and sketch out the shape first, that's absolutely cool. So I'm just going with some SFX Creme colours once again. I'm grabbing the purple and the white this time. I'm just going to create vertical stripes. Not worrying about detail at all, just getting the basic colours down. Once I was happy with that, I'm then going in with some black eyeshadow and I'm going to apply this underneath the shape. This is going to create the illusion that it's really sat on my skin and that it's a 3D object. You want to really focus the black onto the edges, touching the collar, and then you want to grab a bigger brush and diffuse the black out as it goes away. You can also use some hints of browns as well, just give it a bit more realism. Next, I'm going to start adding some details here and there. Like I said, the smallest details can make the biggest difference. I'm just grabbing some white and I'm just literally adding very gentle lines. This is just going to create texture on the surface. And I'm also applying this on the edges as well to kind of create like highlights almost. And then I'm kind of doing the same but with some black eyeshadow as well and just adding it here and there. Next, moving on to the balls. I'm using my finger to do this as it's just easier, and I'm just going to literally create some balls on the ends of each of the points. And then same as what you did before, I'm just grabbing some eyeshadow once again and I'm just going to create shadow underneath the balls. You also want to apply the shadow on the balls to make the balls look 3D, like Sophia's, rather than just circles. For the final touch-ups on the face, I'm just going to grab some white eyeliner and I'm just lining underneath my eyes. Then, really important, lashes and contacts make the biggest difference. So you go ahead and apply them. And then I'm taking a black once again and I'm just going to line underneath the white line that I created earlier. This is going to create some really kind of like drag eyes and make them really big and dramatic. I'm also creating points on the inner corners of the eyes because I just absolutely love doing this. I do it with almost all of my looks. And then finally, for the cherry on top of the cake, I'm just going to grab some black and create some vertical lines coming from my eyes. And then I'm using the opposite end of a brush and taking some red and I'm going to create some dots. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it and you found it helpful. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also feel free to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget, I have an Instagram at gothspectrum, and finally, I'll see you next time.